Hey y'all, it's Tammy and Chris with Collard Valley Cooks. Today we're making one of my kids' favorites out of our 4th cookbook. That's mac and cheese pizza. Boy, is it good. Now you got to bake it in the oven at a high temperature. And I did use glass, but I don't recommend you doing that. I used a glass dish the last time I made it, but I was lucky and it didn't break. You shouldn't put glass in the oven and put it on a high temperature. So we're going to be making it in a metal pan today. So you need a metal 13 by 9 or something that's heat resistance up to like 425 degrees, which is pretty high. You're going to use a box of macaroni and cheese dinner with the packet, half cup of milk, and 4 tablespoons of butter, just like the package directions. So that's going to go in first. You're going to be using 2 eggs, some bell pepper. I'm using these little peppers. They're not hot. They're sweet peppers. And part of an onion. You're going to need some pizza sauce, whatever is your favorite pizza sauce. I'm not sauce, but you're going to need some pizza spices. Our favorite is Pizza Palooza. It's hard to find. Just use some Italian seasonings. Whatever you've got is fine. If you have some pizza seasoning, it's really good. You're going to use some mushrooms for topping, pepperoni for topping, mozzarella cheese for topping, and you're going to need tomato sauce. And I don't have any tomato sauce already made, so I'm going to use some tomato paste mixed up with some water to create a tomato sauce today. And the first thing we're going to do, of course, is drop our pasta. So you're going to bring your water to a boil and drop your pasta. We're going to make it just like the package says. And it says to boil it 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to set that timer. We're going to boil it. I'm going to boil it 10 minutes or 9 minutes. Let's do 9 minutes. Kitchen timer, 9 minutes. Start. And then when that comes out, then we'll pour it up. And that actually has to bake in the oven and set like it's easy to cut out in squares. So you actually bake that part, excuse me, in the oven. Now we're going to go ahead and chop up our onion while we're waiting on that. We're just going to use this for topping our pizza. I think I'm going to cut it in bigger pieces for the top of the pizza this time instead of it being chopped. Now you can cut it up however you want it on your pizza. But this is actually pizza topping is what we're going to use it for. The same way with the pepper. I might cut it a little bit. And then the peppers, they do have a few seeds, but they're typically right up at the very top of the pepper. And when I cut these up, I don't worry too much about the seeds because they don't have a lot of seeds anyway. Lord, that onion is burning my eyes today. It's strong, y'all. So you're just going to chop your little peppers up. And they'll be pretty on the top of the pizza, and they'll taste delicious. That's what you want. It might just taste good. Now, if for any reason your kids don't like these ingredients, of course you can leave them off the pizza. Take the lid off your pot. Anyway, if they don't like peppers and onions, you can always use seasonings like onion powder and even like a pepper seasoning if you wanted to, and then never know what was in there, and it would still give it a good flavor. All right, we're going to open up our tomato paste, mix it up in some water to create a tomato sauce. Now it says 8 ounces, so we'll be making a whole cup of tomato sauce. I'm going to put 3/4 of a cup of really hot water in here, and then once you add your tomato paste, it's going to make it a cup. And I'm going to get something to mix it up with. You want to mix it good. And that should do it. We'll see. And if for some reason you don't think it's thick enough or tomatoey enough, you can always add some more paste to it and just not use it all and store some of it. You don't want it like tomato juice, you want it like tomato sauce. I'm gonna taste it. It looks like tomato sauce. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. A lot more. Not quite the whole can, but almost. 3/4 of it. Sauce is like sauce, not water. So you want it to be a little bit thick. That's going to work perfect. So about 3/4 of this small can of tomato paste, which makes it about 4 ounces of tomato paste and 3/4 cups of water. If you're wanting to make your own and you're like me and you didn't have any sauce, you can always make it happen with something else. All right, we're going to shred our cheese. We're going to shred our cheese while we're waiting on the pasta to boil. I think I'm going to stir it a little bit. It's always good to give it a stir in between. And I didn't salt it, and I should. Give it a little bit of salt right quick. All right, and then here, my cheese grater that is my little handy one that I keep on the countertop is in the dishwasher washing. And I didn't want to get it out because it would be hot and it would make my cheese warm, and my cheese wouldn't want to do right. So I'm doing it the old-fashioned way with my hand grater because it's always better. I mean, you don't have to shred your own cheese, but it does taste good. It don't have all that powder substance on it that keeps it from sticking together in a bag. But now I use bagged cheese. Everybody should buy both, and that way if you feel like shredding it, shred it. If you don't feel like shredding it, don't. I think it'll take all of this to top our pizza. And we're going to have all our ingredients ready. You're going to take your mushrooms and you're going to drain them like you see here. Now, I had 8 ounces of mushrooms on the recipe, but you just need enough mushroom to top the pizza. So keep that in mind as well. That's a 4-ounce can, and that's more than enough. So I'm not sure if the original recipe had 8 ounces and I just didn't use it or what. Because this is not my recipe. This is something I got from somebody else. There's our cheese for the top. Got everything ready. Our pasta's ready. The timer is about to go off in 10 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that timer off. Reach back behind me and pour this up. So it's just enough time to get your ingredients ready. And if you're not that fast, then you're going to have 10 minutes while this bakes. Do something if you need it, if you need some extra time. Now we're going to mix this up just like the package tells you to. So you're going to take your macaroni and cheese. Your butter. I've never put that much butter in mac and cheese, but that's what the box tells you to do. No wonder it's good. No wonder the kids love it. I always just put a little bit. And then this cheese sauce. And then 1/2 cup of milk. And you mix that up. Now your oven needs to be 375 degrees. And you're going to put this in there. And after this gets mixed well and it cools off just a little bit, we're going to beat up 2 eggs and pour in here. And that's going to bake in the oven and it's going to create a crust. So this pizza's crust is mac and cheese. And it's good. Kids are gonna love it. So you want to make sure you stir it and it's not piping hot when we add the eggs, or they're gonna create scrambled eggs. So I'm gonna get this, crack my eggs in it. And I know these eggs are good because they just came from my chickens. So I don't have to crack them individually. We're gonna beat them really good. I'm actually going to use this whisk that I used for my tomato sauce. May as well. It's dirty already. We're going to beat them. And then make sure you're stirring when you add them. I don't think I tell you that in the directions, but that's why we have tutorials. Now we're going to spray this and get this in the oven. 375 for 10 minutes, I believe is what it said. Yep, 375 for 10 minutes. So have your oven ready. And what you're doing is cooking up these eggs, and it's going to set up a crust. Make sure it's mixed good. Uh-oh, y'all can't see what I'm doing. I'm just going to shake it a little bit, get it all the way across, and get it in the oven. We'll see you in 10 minutes. And we're going to put all of our toppings on it. All right, it's been 10 minutes. So we're going to get this out, put it right here, get our toppings on it. The first thing we're going to do is put our tomato sauce on there. And you just want to coat it a little bit with tomato sauce. Now, if you want to use pizza sauce, you can. This is just this recipe. So you can always adapt it to whatever you think would be the best, but it's really good. This is a good recipe. But I'm sure pizza sauce would be good. If you don't have a good Italian seasoning like we do, using pizza sauce would probably be a good idea. But because we have such a good seasoning mix, it's not that big of a deal that it's just tomato sauce for us. And it's up to you how much you want on there. I don't think I want to use all that. Now, next, get that off my fingers, is going to be your spices. And I meant to spray the edges of my pan again. I want to do that before I put the cheese on. Be generous with your spices. Generous. All right, we're going to spray around the edge a little bit because we're going to add cheese to this and I don't want it to stick. This is going to be cheese next. And this was an 8-ounce container or 8-ounce block. And if you want more cheese, go ahead. But this is plenty for me and Chris. We're going to put peppers. We love them. These little ones are so good. They taste really good and they're so pretty. And most of the time, you can get them for a reasonable price. All right, mushrooms. These are actually little portobello mushrooms. Mushrooms have gotten really expensive. I don't know if you've noticed. And for some reason, these portobello mushrooms were cheaper than the regular mushrooms in a can. So I got them. Onion. is next. Now, don't you know your kids will like this, or your grandkids? And like I said, you can leave off all these peppers and onions and mushrooms and just use more spices in your mac and cheese. Make sure you get some onion powder, some good bell pepper seasoning. Like I have one that's called roasted red bell pepper. Oh my gosh, it's good. And then you, as an adult, can really enjoy the flavor of it, and your kids will never know, or your grandkids. I think you should put as many pepperonis on there as you can. No, we'll do 4. We'll do a row of 4 so that you can see the other ingredients. But if you weren't making a video, you might want to pile them on. I have to do it because I want it to be a pretty picture when it comes out of the oven, too. Okay, rinse my hands off. We're going to get it in the oven. Now, this bakes at a higher temperature. That's why you needed a metal pan, because you want it to be toasty. And you want those pepperonis to get nice and brown and pretty. All right, you're going to bake this at 425 degrees until the pepperonis are good and crispy, brown, and the edges are crunchy and bubbly, okay? So your oven may be different. So I'm going to check it in 20 minutes and see how it looks. I think that's a pretty good timing for a pizza. And we will see you then. So we're going to slide it in here, make sure your oven's on 425. Now, if you want to use convection bake, you can. It works really good to make a pizza, and it won't take as much time, but you just need to watch it close. And we will see you in a few minutes. Well, we don't know how this happened, but we don't have sound with our video, so I'm doing voiceover on the end. We did cook this. I left it on convection the last 5 minutes, so we did get quite brown and bubbly, and you're going to see it coming out of the oven. And y'all, let me just say, this stuff is the bomb. So I'm going to use a spatula and cut it into squares and give it a try for y'all. And you can see how cheesy and yummy it looks. And I was afraid it was going to stick, but it did come up easy, and that's good. So just make sure you spray your pan good, because it's a lot of cheese going around those edges. All right. Now I'm going to step back. All right, here we go. We're getting it out of the pan and getting it on a plate so y'all can see it up close. I'm going to show y'all a close-up picture. You can see that macaroni down there in the bottom. Boy, y'all, it's a good one. All right, y'all. I want you to subscribe if you hadn't. Hit the like button and make sure you click the notifications bell. And that way you'll see all of our new content. Now I'm going to reach in here and grab me a piece to taste. And I thought I got it too brown. But let me just say, that cheese is delicious browned. So I was not one bit disappointed in the flavor of this pie. And I told you, you might ought to get you a Coca-Cola if you had one. So we're going to give it a try. That pepperoni kept wanting to run away from me, so I had to use my fingers. And just watch my reaction. I immediately want to reach down and get another bite and put it in my mouth. I didn't even want to wait in between. It was that good. I am not exaggerating. Delicious. Now right here, I'm trying to tell you that this has a lot of flavor, and no matter what, this is a must-try recipe. Your kids and family's going to go crazy over it. I wanted y'all to see my pizza spice up close. It is called the Gourmet Collection Pizza Palooza. You can search for it on Amazon to try to find it. Sometimes it's hard to find. If you can't get it, make sure you get a good pizza spice or use some good pizza sauce. We thank you for watching, and y'all come back and see us. We love you.